In this video, we're going to be recreating this sketch of Simba using stack shapes, the pen tool, and the pencil tool in Affinity Designer. Before we begin our drawing, let's really take a close look at what we're drawing. So I see that Simba's eyes are made up of a whole bunch of circles. Simba's nose and other parts of his face have these amorphous freeform shapes, and that his head, his neck, his mouth are comprised of a whole bunch of loose, flowy lines. Identifying the different parts and grouping them can help us to recognize patterns and also help us decide what we're going to do first, second, and third in our sketch. When doing a vector-based sketch, try to make as many closed, simple shapes as possible. So in the case of Simba's eye, I see that this can easily be done with using stack shapes, using the ellipse. So I'm going to draw in a few ellipses here. And when you notice that a stack shape gets close, but isn't quite close enough, like this third ring of the eye, what you can do is convert that shape to curves and then modify it. So you can click in the top panel and there's three little dots and go to convert to curves. And then you go to the node tool, and what you'll notice is on your shape, nodes appear. In this mode, you can add additional nodes to the line, you can pull nodes to change the shape, you can even change the node types to make it sharp or smooth, you can delete nodes that you don't really want there. You really have a lot of power once you've converted it to curves to make the shape any way you like. You can use the handlebars that stick out either side of the node to make the line segment longer when you pull it away from the node, or to make that line segment shorter when you push the handlebar in towards the node. The pen tool is also really useful for making free-form closed shapes, and it gets really accurate. So I'm going to choose to use smart nodes, selecting that in the context toolbar at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to put a dot everywhere along this layer of the eye that I see the line curve. And then I'm going to connect the dot. And again, because they're nodes, you can use your node tool to go back in and make any changes you like. The last tool I'm going to be using today is the pencil tool. The pencil tool makes absolutely gorgeous, flowy, open lines. So in this case, I'm going to use this for the mouth, for the whiskers, but the pencil tool is kind of a pain when it comes to any closed shapes. As you can see, when I make the eye and try to close it at the top, I just miss. So if you are going to be using the pencil tool, just make sure you go back and clean up any loose nodes and connect as many lines together as possible to make closed shapes. So let's recap and complete this eye. I'm going to use the ellipse tool as much as I can to draw in standard shapes. I'm also going to use the ellipse tool and convert it to curves, and then play around with the nodes to get shapes more accurate. I'm also going to use the pen tool to draw in any freeform shapes, and then modify the nodes as needed. So now my base layer of my eye is complete. And before I move on to the next part of my sketch, I just want to get a little organized. So I'm going to go to the Layer Studio. I'm going to select all the layers of the eye, and then I'm going to use my forefinger and thumb to pinch down to group them together in the Layer Studio. Then on the top of the layer, I'm going to go to those three little dots in the top left corner, hit that, and rename my layer. So now my eye is done. My layer is organized, and I'm ready to move on to the rest of the sketch. And now the really fun part begins. I'm going to use the pencil tool and just flow around the rest of the sketch, drawing in what remains. I'm going to try to get as accurate as possible to the source image, but I'm not going to worry about it being perfect right now. I'm just going to get my base layer down and then make any adjustments I need to later. All right, our base sketch is complete. So let's go and hide our source image by unchecking it to see how it really looks. All right, not too bad. I do see some of the line thicknesses are off, so I'm just going to select all of the lines, and then go over to the Stroke Studio and adjust the width so that all the lines are uniform. And voila!